So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm P. Shravan Kumar, the founder of SK Associates and Group, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to Conference 4.6 today, wherein we'll be exploring the topic Liability and Risk Management in Entrepreneurship, hosted by SK Associates and Group in collaboration with our 17 brand partner universities, including Symbiosis International University Pune, SIES College of Management Studies, BMS Institute of Technology and Management, Bangalore, Sanjeevani University, Kopargaon, MBIT, Forbesganj, Sanskrit University, Mathura, SVKM Susha Praveen Gandhi College, Mumbai, Shri Vishwakarma Skill University, Palwal, Haryana, St. Paul's Institute of Professional Studies, Indore, Sri Ramakrishna Degree and PG College, Nandyal, TRC Mahavidyalaya, Barabanki, Sandeep University, Nashik, Maris Stella College, Vijayawada, Bombay College of Pharmacy, KCES Jalgaon College, Indus International University, Dehradun, and Valley State College, Nepal. We would also like to extend our thanks to our esteemed media partners, namely Hind Chakra Media, Daily Hunt News, Republic News India, Flipboard Times, rdtimes.in, The Indian Bulletin, ABP Live, RKD Live, Press Journal, The Telegraph News, Newsmint 24, National Age, Times Bulletin, Prevalent India, Hindustan Saga, My Maharashtra, Telangana Post, Metro City News, The National Reader, and lastly, Let India Shine for the collaboration, support, and helping us deliver this session on an international scale. Moving ahead, we would also like to extend our thanks to our legal partners, Advocate Ramashankar Tiwari ji from Allahabad High Court, Senior Advocate Shishir Kumar Saxena ji from Supreme Court of India, Advocate Balaratna Kumar ji from AP and Telangana High Court, Advocate Krish P. Anthony ji from Kerala High Court, Advocate Vikas Kumar Dangi ji from Delhi and Haryana High Court, Advocate Kiran Rajendra Makhare ji from Maharashtra High Court, Advocate Agam Shah from Ahmedabad High Court, Advocate Anand Biranwar ji from Karnataka High Court, and lastly, Senior Advocate Pramod Kumar Singh ji from Delhi and Patna High Court. We are honored to host a distinguished panel of accomplished founders, entrepreneurs, startup mentors, investors, and researchers as our guest speakers in this conference. Their extensive expertise in entrepreneurship and business administration will provide you with deep insights into the risk management aspects of multiple businesses. By the end of this conference, we hope you will gain valuable legal and strategic perspectives to guide you on your entrepreneurial journey. So before we delve into the topic for today, let me briefly introduce SK Associates and Group. We are an ISO certified management consulting firm registered under the MSMED Act 2006 of the Government of India. Our mission is to provide consulting services to student entrepreneurs globally, covering areas such as compliance, risk management, operations, marketing, R&D, human capital, strategy. Our passion lies in helping aspiring entrepreneurs bring their dreams to life and contribute to global economic growth. At SK Associates and Group, we take pride in offering tailor-made solutions to our clients. Our team of transformational consultants has a deep-rooted passion for entrepreneurship, and they bring extensive experience and expertise to each project. Over the last 4 years of operations, we have built a network of 5,000 plus individuals from 30 plus nations, representing diverse universities, industries, and functional groups. Our ultimate goal is to assist 600 million student entrepreneurs globally by providing pro bono consulting services in areas such as strategy, operations, human capital, compliance, legal advisory, research and development, taxation, and marketing. We also plan to invest more than 500 crores US dollars in this startup by 2035, creating more than 5,000 plus employment opportunities for startup experts, advisors, mentors, and resource scholars. Our vision is to contribute to global economic growth by empowering the next generation of iconic organizations. Collaboration and strategic alliances are the keys to achieving our mission, and that's how we have collaborated with 17 brand partner universities, 30 plus legal partners, and obviously 5,000 plus associate consultants from 30 plus countries. And we have also recently tied up with 5 investment banks pan India to help entrepreneurs get access to capital funding. We are committed to promoting entrepreneurship development and community impact with a focus on empowering students for global economic growth. We aim to partner with over 1,000 plus universities and colleges by 2030. 100 plus investment banks span the world to provide guidance, mentorship, and funding support to student entrepreneurs as they embark on their startup journeys. The enthusiasm and interest we see among students for entrepreneurship nowadays is truly inspiring. Startups have the potential to address critical social, economical, and geopolitical challenges through innovative business models. By promoting sustainable entrepreneurship, we can drive positive change and create a brighter future for all. Entrepreneurs not only generate job opportunities but also stimulate economic growth, offer innovative solutions to consumer needs, and foster collaboration with other businesses. We have witnessed remarkable success stories wherein entrepreneurs have tackled issues like climate change, waste management, education, and many others. Do refer to the blog section of our website at the rate www.skangroup.com for the same. Entrepreneurship is becoming a catalyst for change and innovation. It's a powerful force that can reshape industries, transform lives, and make the world a better place. We are committed to supporting student entrepreneurs on their journey, equipping them with the tools, knowledge, and networks they need to succeed. At SK Associates and Group, we are immensely grateful for the dedicated support of our executive management team, including Ms. Vaishali Shri, Head of Human Resources, Ms. Priyanka Sinha, Strategic Alliance Advisor, Ms. Reema Kumari, Employee and Customer Relations Coordinator, Ms. Pooja Kumari, Organizational Development Coordinator, and our upcoming Strategic Alliance Manager too. And last but not the least, our major hands, Mr. Rama Reddy, our Institutional Investment Partnerships Advisor, and CA, CFA, CMA, CPA, ACCA, Dr. Shrikant Prasadji from Kolkata, our Strategic Alliance Advisor. Thanks to all of their dedication, we can make a meaningful impact on the entrepreneurial ecosystem today by inspiring, educating, and mentoring young individuals, encouraging them to pursue entrepreneurship instead of a simple corporate career. So now, before we delve into our discussions for today, let's take a moment to introduce our esteemed lineup of guest speakers and tap into the wealth of wisdom they bring to the table. So our first speaker for today is none other than Mr. Shanil Kothari, the founder of ListApp, a platform launched in 2017 with a mission to connect local pharmacies through technology, enabling them to serve patients better with immediate and localized medical help. Driven by the vision to enhance the pharmacy ecosystem in India, Mr. Kothari has led the growth of ListApp into an inspiring and impactful solution that continually uncovers new opportunities for improvement and innovation in the healthcare delivery system. Under his leadership, ListApp has responded to over 5 million search requests. He continuously learns and evolves as a professional, striving to build a business that makes a genuine difference in people's lives in the most practical and foundational ways. Our next speaker for today is none other than Mr. Paul Chukwudi Okori, who is a man driven by a purpose, excellence, and an unyielding commitment to professionalism. As the Chief of Protocol at the Lions Guard Protocol and Executive Protection, he has dedicated his career to shaping a culture of integrity, precision, and leadership in the field of protocol and executive protection. He is not just a leader, he is a catalyst for change and a mentor to many, and a firm believer that true success is measured by the lives we touch and the legacies we build. Next up, we have none other than Dr. Naga Chaitanya Kapuri, who is the CEO of Ishavas Solutions Private Limited, and a climate tech startup focused on ESG reporting and sustainable innovation pan-India. He also serves as an assistant professor at the Anand School for Climate Action, where he leads research on circular economy and green technologies. With a strong background in environmental engineering and climate entrepreneurship, Dr. Chaitanya works at the intersection of technology, policy, and sustainability, empowering the next generation of change makers. A final, but not the last speaker for today, is none other than Mr. Sandeep Sinha, who leads the risk consulting, managed services, and integrity risk management practices at MidCat Advisory, a leading management consulting firm. He is a former submarine commanding officer of the Indian Naval Services with wide experience in planning, operations, and security in real-time high-risk operational environments in India and abroad. An alumnus of JBIMS, IIM Ahmedabad, ISB, and Imperial College Business School, London. Sandeep has been called upon to speak at multiple industry events as subject matter expert on security, drones, homeland security, smart cities, risk management, and others. His interviews and articles have been published in leading international security related magazines, and he was even awarded the prestigious Indian Achievers Award 2020 to 2021 for business leadership. So, welcome everyone, and it's an honor to have you all with us today. Your expertise adds special dimension to our conference, helping us mentor and impact 3,000 plus entrepreneurs via this conference, making it a unique and insightful gathering. Now, before we begin this conference, I would like to request all of you, including our attendees and speakers for today, to kindly switch on your webcams throughout the conference and keep them on. I'd also like to request the attendees to keep a notepad and a pen handy to note down anything important mentioned by the panelists. Okay? If I'm audible clearly, I would like to request all the audience to please raise your hands in the meeting screen minute. If I'm audible, please raise your hands, everyone. That's good to go. I guess I can see 5 hands raised. 10. Okay? 15. Okay, 15 people can hear me clearly, right? I request everyone to kindly pay attention and not go into sleeping mode in the midst. Okay. Now moving ahead, I would like to also inform you all that our HR team will be conducting calls in the chat box throughout this conference. We encourage your active participation in them. Now moving ahead, I would like to invite our first speaker for today, Mr. Shanil Kothari, and request him to commence his speech and share his insights with all of us. Welcome, Shanil.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me and having me here. And it's really great to see that so many people are on the call on the Sunday evening. So we can see the kind of purposefulness people are having here. So thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for coming here. Uh, uh, Today there's a very interesting topic which is given to us that uh, I'm sharing my screen too for this. So uh, all right, I hope this is visible.
Yeah, your screen is clearly visible, Mr. Kothari.
Great. So this is a very important and very tricky topic, which is about liability and risk management entrepreneurship. I specifically choose to talk about very unseen liability and untalked uh, cost which we as an entrepreneur incur along our journey. That is opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is something which is not given proper time and understanding, and we jump into some businesses, and then we we face a lot of liability, a lot of risk around that. So before that, moving forward, let me introduce a little about me. I am Shanil. I have 57. I'm working in the pharma sector right now, having a 17 years experience into pharma domain. I was into manufacturing, marketing, retailing, product development. Had my graduation from EDI Ahmedabad, which is the first and foremost institute for entrepreneurship development and training. Uh, At Listap, we are currently helping the pharmaceutical companies to reduce the prescription bounces and reduce the expiry returns. So our product is a platform which sits between the retail pharmacies in India and the companies, pharmaceutical companies and FMCG companies in India. So that was a brief about me. Coming back to the topic, the opportunity cost and the unseen liability. So I would want you all to imagine that if you guys would quit your stable job, you invest something which you have saved along the way, and for 2 years you are not talking to your friends, not giving proper time to your family. Just think about it. And after 2 years you have to shut down that startup. That is a huge cost you have incurred along the way. There was a stable income which you are having, which helped you to maintain a good routine. Then you were saving something and you invested it all. And then there was no leisure time you have spent focusing on building something really great, which can take you 10x to what you are today. But eventually you shut that down. That is the kind of risk which every startup, every entrepreneurs take, because you never know, because of you, not because of you, because of the outside condition, you might end up as a failure, not as a person but as a startup. So the opportunity cost is the thing you give up when you choose one path. So for example, if you study, you you study to secure grade A, but for that you have to miss your free time. You have to miss playing games. Maybe you would enjoy playing video games, which you decide that not to pursue. Why? Because you wanted to get a in your studies. So at a very layman language, this is what you give up when you decide to do something over something else. There are three primary costs which an entrepreneur actually faces in terms of opportunity cost. First is the time you spend away from the family. You miss family dinners, which is something which you cannot get back. Then you decline a well-paying job maybe for 3 5 years. There is no stability of income. You sometimes you don't even have to uh, have the capacity to pay for a burger. So that is the another cost you have being an entrepreneur. Burnout. You work, so in any kind of job you work for 7 8 hours, 10 hours maybe, but entrepreneurship is a 14 hours, 18 hours job many a times, which actually hampers your health, your internal energy. Maybe many a times people out to have diabetes or hypertension because of the situation they deal in. So these are the three major things which affects the life, the emotional part of it. There are many costs, many risks you have, but these are the major things which actually affect you for a very long time, which is so that is very necessary to maintain. So for example, uh, if you all are going to go for entrepreneurship as a career, or want to pursue something, something you believe in, some one dream you feel like, one idea you have, there are certain things to mitigate this opportunity cost risk. I would suggest that you have to keep three things in mind. One is you have to prepare financially, take care of yourself along the way for the time you are into that, and stay connected with your loved ones and family and friends. Don't miss important family dinners for that. So to start with, to prepare financially, many a times it is stated that you have to give in completely if you want to start something. Yes, of course that is needed, but there are ways to mitigate that. So for example, before starting something, if there is some idea in your mind, you can decide to save something for next 6 to 12 months, so that you can start that idea, build something, build some prototype around that. Maybe you can cite it as a side hustle, or maybe if you are full time into a startup, you can do some side job so that you have a little financial inflow happening, which can actually take care of your basic requirements and reduce your additional stress levels. The second thing which we as entrepreneurs have to go with is that we have a very routine which is not very structured. We sometimes actually sleep very late, at maybe 5 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes we have to wake up after such nights. We have to wake up at 2, going to meeting, then being again late. So the better way to deal with is exercising and eating healthy. That is, these are the two things for which it is said that there are two things which don't require any effort. First is to eat healthy, and second is to sleep well. You can decide and choose that if there's a time which you have to give to a proper sleep. For that, you don't have to do anything. You just have to decide that you will sleep at certain time, irrespective of that time you will have a sleep or not. So just take care of yourself when you are into this journey, because this will give you a lot of energy to do things and work smart. Because working hard is actually nothing. It will not take you anywhere. If you are able to take decisions which can take you 10x ahead every time, that will actually make any difference in the journey of entrepreneurship. Take breaks, go to this different kind of trips. Just be happy with whatever you are doing. Connect with your family, meet friends, build a very strong team. That team could be of just 3 people. That's not a problem. 2 people. Build your idea with someone who can actually share responsibility, so that in the end you also have time to do other stuff, time to re-energize yourself. So just be cautious while when you get into the entrepreneurship journey. This is a small reel I was scrolling through and I've got. I wanted to share with you all, and that would be my last slide to all of you. Just listen to it well.
Hard work is a great excuse for our mind when the ego comes attacking, asking why you didn't make it.
I'll repeat again.
Hard work is a great excuse for our mind when the ego comes attacking, asking why you didn't make it.
So,
Hard work
in the end, I wanted to say that entrepreneurs never avoid the risk. They manage them smartly. They plan, they routine, they create support system, and then they create balance, and then they move forward. These all things are very important, and you would need along your way. You'll be coming across in this session. You will be coming across a lot of risk and a lot of other different tangible things and risks with and how you can mitigate. But the things which I have shared are most important for your success and your healthy well-being. Please remember my words. You are not building just businesses. You are building a life around that business. So the primary agenda is to build a life, and the business will eventually will be built around along. That's it from my side. Uh, if there is any question, I can take that.
Thank you for the lovely speech, Shannon. Firstly, now I had a small question. Since we are talking about risk management, Shannon, and you have been in the tech space mostly, IT space, you understand? So when you actually combine healthcare and IT, it becomes more risky, right?
Yeah,
Because you are responsible for all the clients' lives that are on the stake.
right.
So how do you actually, build up the confidence that you can deal with it even when you fail in the healthcare industry specifically?
So most of the times the things are uncharted. So one part is the entrepreneurial part of it, that you have to create a mindset. If the mindset that come what may, we will handle and we will figure out. And if you have that kind of mindset, if you'll face problems, you'll also have the opportunities to solve those problems. That is what my experience is so far. Secondly, as far as health is concerned and the risks about the ecosystem and the industry, many things are already, rules and regulations are in place. So you have to very smartly understand those rules, understand what your customer needs, and then you can eventually create some ways, some differentiations which can also support those rules and support your clients too. Many a times there are hard stuff, of course, which you have to take, you should take, because you are building not just for a year or two, or just to just do and go. You are building it for a long time. So eventually, if there are things which are not possible today, will be possible when in the coming future, if you create a very rock solid proposition, and then eventually the government and the people see it through.
I guess too. That was a great answer. I guess Ms. Labani Chatterjee has a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Ms. Chatterjee, you can just unmute yourself and speak. Am I audible, Labani?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You can ask your question, Labani.
No, sir. Currently, I have no question.
No question. Okay. The hand was raised. Okay, no issue. I guess it
Might be
was.
the raise when you asked to raise. That would be.
I guess Harshdeep has a question. Yeah, Harshdeep, you can go ahead.
Hi, sir. I, Sami,
I
sir.
heard the.
Um, I talked about like individuals can make better decisions regarding their health and also facing opportunity cost. Could you like give any advice to an entrepreneur who comes from a low income setting, like he does not have resources to save beforehand, and how can that person manage both of these things? Would love to hear insight.
So, Harsh, that is a really very valid and relevant question. Uh, but the primary thing in any entrepreneurship is, if how much domain experience and understanding you have about anything. So, for example, many a times we see that we have an idea, but we don't understand the domain. I suggest that go and work for multiple companies or multiple such domain industries where you can get actual domain understanding about it. That will give you two leverages. First, you will understand the industry and how the customer behave in that, and second, you will earn some money and you can save some money for moving it forward. So that is the way forward. Until you get some money savings where you can build some small MVP, some short prototype of your product, try to do alternative jobs or be in that job, or maybe use it as a side hustle. uh, when you have a prototype ready and some customers are there, then nowadays we have all the options available from investments, angel investors, and this all the capital companies available. Even banks are promoting some kind of loans on for the startups also. So all these options are available for you to eventually scale. People say think big, but there is one more line attached to it: do small. So when you will think about doing it small, executing it small, you will eventually see that step by step you have reached to a very big level.
So, thank you so much.
Sure. Hope that was helpful, Harshdeep. Okay. Any other questions that we have from the audience? You may please raise your hand and ask your question. Any other questions, participants? None? Okay. I guess that was all of the questions, Shanu. I would like to request you to just share your email ID in the chat box so that if any of our audience has any further queries, they can personally reach out to you.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. And thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Sure. It was a wonderful speech, Shannon. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now moving ahead, I would like to invite Mr. Paul Chukuri Okori and I request him to commence his speech and share his valuable insights with all of us.
Hello, good day everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible, Paul. Please continue.
Okay, all right. Okay, my name is Paul Chukwudokore, and I'm delighted to be here today. I think this is my first time of being here. Thank you, SK and Associate, for inviting me. I also want to appreciate the CEO and also his team. I also want to appreciate all our amazing speakers. Thank you so much for sharing valuable insight. And also to our first speaker, thank you so much. I really learned a lot of things in doing your section, especially when you talked about planning financially, starting big and dreaming, starting small and dreaming big. And also the place you talked about side hustle, very important. We do a lot of side hustle in Nigeria, a lot of side hustle in Nigeria, and I want to appreciate you for that amazing presentation. God bless you for that. I celebrate you, sir. All right. Thank you, everyone. Like I said, I'm Paul Chukwudokore from Nigeria, and serve as the Chief of Protocol, the Lions Guard Protocol and Executive Protection. And I'll be speaking on liability and risk management from a protocol and executive protection point of view. Are we on the same page? Okay, I want to start with this. I want to let us know, as entrepreneurs and business leaders, we often focus on so much on opportunities, and we underestimate, sometimes entrepreneurs underestimate the very real risk that can disrupt, damage, and even destroy a business. Today I will be showing us how adopting protocol mindset and executive protection strategies can help identify, mitigate, and also manage and mitigate risk. So that's what I want to share with us, so that before those risks turns into liabilities. First thing we'll be looking at, we'll be discussing defining the landscape. We'll be defining the landscape of risk management, risk and liability. For me, as a protocol and executive protection professional, this is how I see, or this is how we see risk. So risk, personally for me, I see risk as the potential of an advanced event happening. Risk, uh, I see it as a potential of an advanced event happening. Why liability, for me, I see it as the legal or financial responsibility that comes when risk turns into reality. Are we on the same page? Okay, for us in the protocol and executive protection industry, I think most of us that are entrepreneurs might not relate to us, but this is very, very important. We also know about it. As a protocol and executive protection professional, our job is not just about security guard. Maybe when we talk about an EP and executive protection professionals, we talk about people following maybe high profile individual, but it's beyond that. Is protocol is beyond formal ceremonies. It's about safeguarding people. Number one, it's about brand. It's about safeguarding people, brand, asset, and your reputation as an entrepreneur. And I want you to know that that is something every entrepreneur needs to care about. Um, what we'll be looking at types of risk entrepreneurs face according to from the protocol and executive protection professional perspective. So I listed five risk protocol and entrepreneur face as a protocol and executive protection professional. So first on the list is financial risk, which talked about cash flow problem, bad investment, and debt. Number two is operational risk, which we look at the supply chain issues, internal process breakdown. Number three is reputational risk, which we look at scandals, bad publicity, customer dissatisfaction. Number three is security and number four rather is safety and security risk, which talks about threats to personnel, facilities, or digital assets. And the last one, number five, is legal and compliance liabilities, which we looked at the lawsuits, regulatory breaches, and contract disputes. So first thing was that the truth is that most businesses are one bad incident away from serious disruption, which is why proactive risk management is non-negotiable. Proactive risk management is non-negotiable. So what is now the role of protocol and executive protection professionals in risk management? Like I said before, okay, the work of a protocol and executive protection professional cut across so many areas, but we'll be looking at three critical areas our work cut across. Number one is risk identification and assessment. What does this imply? It implies conducting advanced checks, profiling guests and stakeholders in regards to event. Profiling, maybe you have a product launch, we need to profile the guest and stakeholder who is coming to that event. Is he a high profile individual? Is he a captain of industry? Is he a major investor in business? So we need to know. Number three on risk identification and assessment is mapping out potential security and reputational risk. So that's the third one. Secondly, we'll be looking at our role involves risk mitigation strategies. Very, very important. Very, very important. That's the core of our duty. Risk mitigation strategies. What does this imply? It implies setting up security protocol at events. There must be security protocol at every event, be it product launch, ceremony, dinner. There must be security protocol at every event. Two on risk mitigation strategies, conducting logistics and safe travel plan. We must do what we call proper route selection in regards to moving high profile individual from point A to point B, or navigating their way through the event. Number three on that is preparing contingency plan. Let me share a little, say a little. My mother will always tell me, Paul, don't rule out uncertainties. There are some certain situations that unforeseen circumstances, maybe we do not consider that might happen, but we as executive protection professionals or protocol professionals, nothing takes us by surprise. So we must prepare in advance. There must be contingency plan in the line of our duty. So the last slide is on what I call liability shielding. This implies developing public engagement protocol. Who can have access to the principal? Who can have access to the high profile individual? Let's say a CEO of SK and Associate, maybe he attends an event. So which media outlet or which media firm do we give access to him for him to speak to? Because some people you might not know who is against you. Some people are there to tarnish your image. You might say something, they will not twist it to say what you did not say. So that is on that developing public engagement protocol, who asks questions and every other thing. So managing in another thing is managing insider threats. So every organization works with a team, and within the team, we don't overlook insider threat. Might be something happening within our team that we need to terminate, that can be a threat to the growth and also the progress of the organization. So we must also look at what we call insider threat. Lastly on that is protecting intellectual properties, digital infrastructures, and personal reputation. So I want to share a case study. It happened in Nigeria because Nigeria is our base. and it happened in Nigeria. So it's a real world scenario. There was a local business summit that happened way back in 2013, 2023 rather, uh, where we had investors flying in, government dignitaries attending, and we have plenty media coverage. Unfortunately, what happened is that they failed, the event organizers failed to conduct adequate risk assessment and or adequate risk assessment, engaging protocol and security professionals early enough. During the event, a logistical error occurred, which exposed the high-profile individual to public disorder. So a particular individual, a company of industry, walked in, and he was a notable personality, and they exposed him to the eyes of the public. Whereby in an event we have VIP walkway, or we call it VIP eyes, where the VIPs are being taken through to the main hall for the event. But this person individual was walked through a particular place that made him vulnerable to the public, which was not supposed to be so. So not only was the event shut down, the organizer faced legal action and serious reputational damage. So one of what happened, had it been that there was proper planning, advanced risk assessment, executive protection structures in place, all these could have been avoided. All these could have been avoided. And I also want us to know that this is not an isolated case. It can happen in boardrooms, trade fairs, even in product launch, when we are launching product. And every entrepreneur needs to pay attention to it. So, second to the last, what are the practical framework? So, what do you do as a business leader to mitigate risk and avoid liabilities? So, what are the practical framework? Number one is conduct regular risk audit. Don't wait for problem to arise. Don't wait for problem to arise. Number two, have a clear event visitor management protocol. We must know who visit the boss, who have access to the VIPs, who have access to the major players in the organization. Thirdly, secure liability insurance and keep your documents clean. Four, engage protocol and executive protection professionals for high stake activity. Should in case you have high stake activities, you should employ the services of professionals. The next is invest in reputation management strategy. I will call reputation management the good public image of an organization or an entrepreneur or a captain of industry. Next is build contingency plans for crisis. There must be contingency plan for crisis. Plan A, plan B, plan C, even plan Z. So there must be contingency plan. Nothing should take us unawares. Lastly, prioritize staff training on emergency procedures and security awareness. Security is not a work of security personnel. Security is the work of every entrepreneur. These simple steps can protect your business, your reputation, and your future. In conclusion, why entrepreneurship is about taking bold risk, it should never be about blind risk. So, by adopting a protocol and executive protection perspective, you place your business in a position of strength, foresight, and resilience. So, I want to end on this note. The long run are those, the entrepreneurs who thrive in the long run are those who build with both opportunity and risk management in mind. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward connecting with those who would like to deepen their knowledge in risk management strategy with a led protocol led approach. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
That was a great speech, Paul. Although I had a personal question, considering that there are generally three categories of countries worldwide. That is, first is developed, second is developing, and the third is underdeveloped. Okay. Since major countries in South Africa and India and the Indian region fall in the developing phase, what would be your one advice to entrepreneurs from such nations?
Come again. I didn't get your question.
Yeah. What would be
I
your
didn't get your
advice
question. Come.
to entrepreneurs who
Yes.
belong to countries which are yet in the developing phase?
In regards to risk management.
Exactly.
All right. Depends on where you are coming from, because in my line of duty as a protocol and executive protection professional, I believe there are system and structures that need to be put in place first. Anybody going into business must consider systems and structures, and protocol is one of the system and structures that need to be enshrined into every business. Every business has due protocols that need to be followed. In fact, I was telling them someday in an event I was privileged to speak in. I told them that the heartbeat of every organization is protocol. That is the heartbeat of every organization. No matter how small that business is, there must be a structure for that business. Anything with that structure falls. That in fact, I don't think that thing can strive. So I believe that no matter how little their business, we are a developing country, and as much as they call a giant of Africa, Nigeria is a developing country. But one thing that is helping us as people that is as private individuals in these insecurity agencies is structure. So we put there are structures put in place that helps us grow. So every developing country must know they put in the right structure and also adhere to due protocols. I believe with that they can strive. Thank you.
That's a great response, Paul. Thank you. Now, I would like to request the audience to put forward any questions you have to Mr. Paul. Any questions from the audience? You can simply raise your hand and ask your question. I'd also like to request all the audience to kindly switch on your webcams. Rukaiya, Fatima, Mahi Bhatia, Vinit Kumar, Harshal, Mohite, Akash, Neha Gidwani, Siddhi Sharma. See, participants without the webcams won't be certified at the end of the conference. I assure you. Come on. So, any questions from the audience? None? That's all? Okay. That was a great speech, by the way, Paul. Thank you for your contribution. And I would like to request you to just share your email ID in the chat box so that if anyone has any queries, they can personally connect with you. Okay?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will. Thank you so much.
Sure. Now, moving ahead, I would like to firstly thank Paul for his amazing speech on the ethical part and obviously whatever he contributed to our conference from the South African context. That was quite interesting to know. And obviously, conference has to have parallels of every topic from different regions and different perceptions. That's how things work. So yeah, thank you a lot, Paul. Now moving ahead, I would like to welcome Dr. Naka Chaitanya Kavuri to commence his speech and share his insights with all of us. Yeah, Dr. Chaitanya, am I audible? Yeah, Dr. Chaitanya, am I audible? If there's a technical glitch on your side, Dr. Chaitanya, you can just text out in the chat box. Sure. Yeah. Welcome, Paul. Pleasure. Okay, I guess Mr. Chaitanya is having a technical glitch. It will take him 5 minutes to sort it out. Okay. Until then, I would like to invite Mr. Sandeep Sinha from MidCat Advisory to commence his speech and share his insights with all of us. Yeah, Sandeep ji, am I audible?
Yes, I hope I am visual and clearly audible to everyone.
Yeah, you are clearly audible, Sandeep ji.
Great. So, first of all, thank you very much for the organizers for organizing such a seminar for entrepreneurs. Now, as you all know, no less than the Prime Minister has very clearly stated that entrepreneurship is going to be one of the priority programs of this government. And if you were to look at South Korea, where it was in the 60s and where it is today, you will find it very interesting that the single reason for the rise in the economy, technologically, economically, socio-economically, etc., the single most important factor that stands out in the case of South Korea is entrepreneurship, right? And that is the strength. You can, go back 50, 60, 70 years in America and see that it is entrepreneurship that has driven development. So I think India is in that very sweet spot. We have got great demographic advantage. We have got a very, I will say now, thriving ecosystem for entrepreneurs. I mean, industry is talking about startups, governments are talking about startups, and a lot of things, structures are being put in place. So, with that, I think this is a very, very apt topic, and I see some very young friends here. And first of all, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to accept this fact publicly that I am not an entrepreneur. I am very entrepreneurial, but I am not an entrepreneur. And during my consulting days, I know that I am at times uh, unable to put myself in the shoes of the entrepreneur, right? So I am a risk management consultant, right? We work very closely with several companies, entrepreneurial endeavors, and I still do not know what goes on inside the mind of the entrepreneur. But certainly, I will say I do not have the stomach for entrepreneurship. So, hats off to all of you. And with that, let me just see if I can share my screen. My idea is not to talk about entrepreneurship. My idea is to talk about risk management in particular, and of course, liabilities. And I will request you then to keep extrapolating whatever I am saying in your respective ventures, because nobody will know your intention, your vision, your business, your ecosystem better than you. I will only talk of certain frameworks which I hope will help you. So I'm just about to share my screen. Just give me a second, please.
Yeah, your screen is clearly visible, Mr. Silva.
Right. So today I will be talking about risk and liability management in entrepreneurship. I will limit myself to what I have worked very closely on and what I have studied extensively. However, do remember I do not have an entrepreneurship of my own. I am very entrepreneurial in the entrepreneurship of somebody else. Right. So we will talk of risk. We will talk of why risk management is important in the context of entrepreneurship. We will talk of how exactly is risk management done, the type of organization, the scale of the organization, the nature of the organization, and this doesn't really matter because risk management is a very universal principle, and we will talk about two important management frameworks which are universally applicable and which are industry agnostic. So I am very sure basic understanding of these two ISO frameworks will really help you in identifying, analyzing, and managing your risk. We will also talk of something very, very interesting, and this is the difference between an entrepreneur and a non-entrepreneur: risk appetite. We'll talk of that. You will find it interesting. We will also talk of how companies are, keeping focus on risks. So it is done through a matrix. We will just see a very, very basic matrix. And then, of course, we will talk of one of the biggest risks to any business, not only entrepreneurship, that is liability and basic of liability management. So, before we go into ISO 31000, uh, risk very, very basically is defined as the impact of uncertainty on objectives. Now, what are the objectives? You know best because you have started in entrepreneurship. Objectives of every organization are or should be very clearly laid down. And because we all live in an increasingly uncertain world, there is always going to be risk. And therefore, it is important that we know what are the kind of uncertainties which can create an impact on the achievement of our objectives. Now, the important thing here to understand is that risk is not only negative impacts, it can have a positive impact also. So, therefore, I think it is important to give equal focus to negative risks as well as positive risks. Right. So, with that, we will now talk about the ISO 31000. So, it is a risk management framework which is industry agnostic. It is not specific to a industry, country, geography, continent, or type of business also. It gives a framework and a set of processes to be followed therein to make sure that based on the context of your organization or company or entrepreneurship, you should have a set of steps which will help you identify or uncover threat events. For example, if I start a business of, say, hosieries, a small unit, not more than 3,500 square feet, employing, say, 15 to 20 people, right? Now, the context means that it is a hosiery business, it is a small scale thing. There may be several other competitors, there may be larger competitors. I may be in a certain geography which may or may not be or may be differently favorable. So the context has to be very clearly understood. The context of the same business in Europe and the context of the same business in India or in Africa can be quite different, right? Right. So it is important to know what are the particular situations, events, actions by various stakeholders that could present a threat to my achievement of goals, right? The other aspect becomes how vulnerable am I? For example, I am a young budding entrepreneur and I understand that I want to do business with a big company. He gives me a contract. I know I'm not a legal person and there are several places in the contract which I do not have a exact understanding of ramifications of. So that becomes my vulnerability, right? The threat can be the contract document. The vulnerability can be the absence or inability of me to understand or not be specialized in it, nor do I have a support system. So now I am vulnerable to the wording in a contract, right? And then you need to see that, okay, if I am vulnerable, what could be the criticality? So this specific example I am taking very consciously because we will also be talking of liability, right? So in contracts, you will find that liability can become a very significant player, right? So a framework should be integral to your organizational processes. It should be very much a part of your decision making. It does not matter whether you are a one-man show or whether you are a proper corporatized structure. Decision making should take into account the risks, vulnerabilities, criticalities, opportunities, analysis and assessment of risk, and how you treat risk through controls, right? And this process has to be a continuous one. So basically, what are you doing? You will establish the context of the entrepreneurship you are in. You will try and identify or uncover the risks that are there. You will also keep in mind what you perceive to be your uh, so-called weaknesses or areas of improvement or absence of competences, and that is absolutely okay. Everyone does not have equal amount of competence of every single topic in the world, right? And this is where probably some mentors will come in and help you, because they, by virtue of their experience, they would have gone through these. So you will also need to assess those risks. Assessment is very important. For example, very recently, a new policy document came out from the government of India, which gave certain guidelines for manufacturers of closed circuit televisions. Now, wherever we go, we see CCTVs in shops, malls, residences, gates, office spaces, etc. So now something has changed there. So now, if you are a CCTV manufacturer or you are, manufacturing components for the CCTV industry, you need to know whether or not and to what extent a change in policy can impact negatively or positively what you yourself are doing, right? So this means you are doing an assessment of the risks, evaluation of risks. Now there may be several directions from which risks may affect your business. All risks will not be equal. Some risks will be more critical, some risks will could perhaps have less impact on you. So you are doing an evaluation and you are prioritizing all the lists that you have identified. And thereafter, you will take certain steps to mitigate the negative impact of risks or to accentuate the positive impacts of risk. So that is called treatment of risks. And this is a process that will go on and on. Obviously, at every step, you will be monitoring. Right. So this is a little more detailed and a clearer picture of the ISO 31000 risk management framework, which, as I said, is agnostic to industry, type of units, scale of units, geography of businesses, extent of supply chains. Everyone, by and large, in the world is following this well-established standard, right? So now, because the definition says that it is an impact of uncertainty on objectives, so there will be some probabilities involved, right? So there are several risk variables which you will need to quantify, right? Is the impact low, medium, or high? When we talk of the word uncertainty or risk, that itself is a probability of something happening or not happening, right? Risk can be 0.7, 0.8. So there are very simple ways of doing it. I'm sure with a deeper read, you will understand this very, very clearly, right? So there is another framework called COSO framework. Normally it is used by businesses in the European Union and several parts of the world, right? Okay, now this talks of a very important thing, that risk can have multi directions and multi dimensions. So there is an environment that you will be running your entrepreneurship in, right? There will be information, communication, public relations, marketing, etc. So there will be certain strategic aspects to your entrepreneurship. There will be some operational aspects to your entrepreneurship. There will be certain actions that you will take to report progress of the business to your own team or maybe to a regulator also. And compliance, of course, becomes a very, very important thing. So all in all, it is a very all encompassing framework which talks of various functions, activities, both internal and out of your organization, which will help you understand risk better. So we've talked of two frameworks. We've talked of ISO 31000 and we've talked of COSO, right? So basic idea of telling you this is that you need to understand risk can come from multi dimensions, it can be multi-directional. Some risks may appear fast, some risks may appear very, very gradually, so slow in fact that you may actually miss it, right? So you need to keep yourself aware of the ecosystem where you are working, right? Risk appetite. Now we all say that I am starting entrepreneurship. I do not have full clarity, but I have followed my gut and my instinct and my basic knowledge, and I have dived into business. Correct? Mostly, this is what a new entrepreneur says. You do this because your risk appetite is high. How much of risk can you accept? For example, let's take a large company, for instance. Now, this large company says that I am going to be manufacturing aluminium. Now, to manufacture aluminium, you need alumina. Alumina comes from bauxite, and there's a whole lot of processes. And bauxite you will obviously do from mining. So, mining is an inherently risky business, right? There is a government, there are regulators, there are compliance issues, there is environment, there is, local populations involved. But still, the aluminium manufacturer says that I am going to manufacture aluminium and I will be exporting, which means that there are a lot of risks which this company is willing to accept. Whereas there could be another company which says that no, no, there is a lot of potential uh, fine that can be imposed on me in the form of penalties by National Green Tribunal. Therefore, I don't want to get into that hassle. What is different between this person and the previous one? One's risk appetite is high, the other's risk appetite is probably lower. Both are right. It is absolutely all right to have a lower risk appetite. It is absolutely all right to have a higher risk appetite. Important thing is you must have uncovered your risks, you must have analyzed your risks, you must have taken certain measures to control or manage your risk. Risk is, I said, uncertainty, which is a probability. It can never be zero, right? So there will always be some amount of risk, but you should know, and you should know. Okay, a more basic example for a youngster. One person leaves his job and says that I am going to do my own thing and I am starting this entrepreneurship, right? A lot of people I have come across say that, all right, I will keep investing from my savings and I will take loans and I will raise debt and I will watch for 1000 days, 3 years, just over that, right? And they say that, all right, I am willing to take losses up to 3 years. Then I know I am very confident because of my analysis of the ecosystem and the market that I will start getting profitable. The other person says that, I may not be able to go beyond 1 year. What is different? Risk appetite. Both are right. Correct. So risk appetite, to know it is important. How far are you willing to go? What penalty are you willing to take? What kind of compromise are you willing to make? Right. Now, the good part is that entrepreneurs are generally people who are very, very bold. They take audacious decisions. They are very, very sharp. They read markets. Their observation power is higher, and that is why once their entrepreneurships are successful, their returns are also supernormal. So that is the ultimate aim. So it is important to know what kind of space you are operating in, what is your own condition, and how much of risk you are willing to go with. Right. So very simply, what happens is that there are two aspects to risk. One is the impact risk could have on you, and one is the likelihood of a threat event realizing. So what companies do, irrespective of size, they will create this kind of a matrix which will say that, okay, for a particular risk scenario, and a risk scenario can be multiple, change in market condition, change in technology, change in government policy, right? Sudden change of vendors by a very large client. Anything could be a risk scenario. But it is important to put all such scenarios in a matrix like this, wherein you say that, okay, my assessment is that this scenario is a very rare one. However, in another geography that I want to be exporting in, policy changes happen very frequently, and therefore it is more likely there. However, the impact on my business will remain same, which means that suppose the impact could be moderate. In one case, something is very rare to occur, one is very likely to occur. But as per this matrix of ours, In the first case, your risk is low. In the second case, your risk is moderate. Now, risk can be low, moderate, and extreme. This is something that you will decide, what does extreme mean to you, what does moderate mean to you, and what does low mean to you. Every company does that. It is a good habit to start doing it at the word go in your business. Right. So let me stop sharing my screen. Right. So now what have we talked about? For any business, we've talked about what does risk mean, how does it impact us. We've talked about frameworks, and we've talked about risk appetite. You all have got great risk appetite, and God bless you for that. I probably do not have that. Right. And now let's talk about liability. Now, the specific example I gave you was, straight away from contract documents. Now, when we got a small setup, we get very, very, we struggle to get new business. And once we have that assurance, we are sometimes in a hurry to sign whatever contract document comes to us, right? So now in every contract document, you will have realized that there is something called liability. Every party in a business tends to reduce its own liability, even at the cost of increasing the liability of the other party, right? So depending on which side of the table you are in, you must understand liability very clearly. Now, liability is something that will come on you should certain circumstances realize. For example, someone will say in a document that in case the quality parameters are not met, then you will pay 100%. In some cases, they will say the maximum liability under this particular contract will not exceed 300%. The dangerous contract documents are which do not mention a certain liability. So now imagine, suppose I am a small company, typically say I am a 5 crore company. I get a large contract where liability is mentioned. I am expected to sign that liability, but the limit of liability is not there. So technically, my entire business can be shut down, and not only that, I can actually go into perhaps jail because the contract document that I signed without understanding liability was not boxed to a certain percentage, right? So liability clause is to be read very, very carefully. Now, what happens is, why do companies have legal teams and legal advisors? Because they scrutinize a contract document from the lens of risk. What is when you sign a contract, what are the risks you are taking onto yourself? What are the liabilities you are going to accept, right? So everyone says that if I face a loss, I will transfer it to you and I will put liability on you, right? So I must have a very clear understanding of what are the situations that can cause direct damage, what can cause indirect losses to my client, right? What are the situations where I need to, be at an equal footing with my client, that we will discuss this. Penalty shall be imposed post discussion, post mutual agreement, right? So never ever hesitate in having certain lines in a contract document changed. For example, liabilities, insurances, penalties, etc. Right? Now, a large company will tell you that this is our standard document which we use globally. Please sign. I don't want any changes. But Honorable Supreme Court of India has said that every single line in a contract document can be negotiated, can be amended to the agreement of both parties. Never ever hesitate to do that. And no matter how lucrative this thing is, don't take too much liability on your head, because liability has got the potential to shut your shop. And that's not a very good thing. Right? There are, related to contract and liabilities, there are certain other things in a contract document that you must be very, very aware of. For
Excuse
example,
me, Dr. Sinha. Could you please
yeah,
wrap it up in 2 minutes?
one
We
minute,
have got
1 minute,
another speaker
because now
waiting.
what I'm going to be talking can actually shut down a business. Right. So payment terms. So payment terms are very, very important. if you are a SME or an MSME, there are certain protections that are promulgated by the government of India to say that you must receive your payment within 45 days. In an entrepreneurship, management of cash cycle is very, very important. You cannot be providing services or goods today and getting paid 120 days later. Interest cost is yours. You don't have control of what happens during this 120 days, right? So manage your cash cycle very, very well. And the only way of doing that is to make sure that your contract document talks about it. You say that I will receive payment in 30 days, right? So this is where your negotiation skill will come in, and this is how you will protect your business and not only an individual contract. So I will now stop. So I will just say risk management is important. Please start, make a habit of doing it every single time. It will protect you, right? I will say that 30 to 40% of businesses that close down within the first 2 years is could not have closed down had someone looked at the business activities, processes, operations from a risk lens. So with that, I think I hope rather, I have given you some perspective on how to manage risks. And as I said, entrepreneurs are bold, audacious people, and God bless you. May God keep you strong and thriving. So now, if there is any question that I can answer, I will be happy to do that.
Thank you for your speech, Dr. Sinha. I would like to request you to share your email ID in the chat box so that if any
Certainly,
audience has any queries, they can directly reach out.
certainly.
Now, moving ahead, I would like to invite Dr. Chaitanya Kapuri to commence his speech and share his insights with all of us.
Good evening, guys. First of all, disclaimer, I am right now waiting in an airport to catch a train in Geneva. Okay, I might be, so I have to catch the train within 15 to 20 minutes, I guess, maximum. So I will try to share whatever the thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys, and as soon as possible, and then take a leave. So today's topic that I wanted to discuss today was liability and risk management in ESG driven startups, especially. I am having a startup which is totally ESG driven, and in this particular sector, whenever we are starting a startup, especially that is ESG driven startups, what will be the basic liability and risk management that we can offer to the B2B companies that we are looking at, and at the same time, what are the things that we have to take care of as founders and as stakeholders. So the agenda will be basically why ESG matters for startups, and automatically understanding the risks and early stage ventures, liabilities, what are the different types of liabilities, and practical risk management tools that are available for us. Generally, there are so many number of tools that are available as of now, but I will be discussing in brief. So basically, what is ESG? Right now, ESG is environmental, social, governance metrics that has to be maintained by most of the companies, or especially all of the companies invest to make sure that, like finances, if they have to, like finances of a private limited company has to be disclosed mandatorily. ESG metrics have to be disclosed by most of the companies in the Western sector. But in India, it is not a compulsory as of now. But for us, once we have entered the Paris Agreement to reach that particular target of 2030, implementation of this ESG, especially in industries, has become the most important key point to achieve the targets. So the moment we start implementing these things, automatically it will be more easier for even the government to achieve the target that we have promised for the sustainability of the world. And coming to this, right now, what is the status in India? In India, the ESG metrics maintenance has been mandated or guided to be maintained by top 1,000 companies listed in SEBI. That is one bunch that they have been instructed. And second thing, RBI has given strict rules for all the banking sector and NFTs uh, to maintain these ESG metrics as of now. These are mandated, and slowly government is coming in for all the other industries to do it. First of all, for whom these ESG metrics are very much important. Any company which is looking at expanding itself from Indian market to any other market, it needs to maintain ESG. And second thing, if you want to list the company in any of the stock exchanges outside India. And second thing, anyone who is looking for an investment from foreign soil in any form will have to maintain ESG, because all the investors, first of all, look for the ESG metrics, not only the finances and the market value, but the ESG metrics before they invest in most of the cases. Now, so why should they care? So access to impact investors, obviously, why should we care? This is the reason. Better regulatory preparedness hoga, and you people will be very prepared for regulatory preparedness, and enhanced brand trust hoga, and anticipating future compliance standards. Once you start accepting the ESG metrics in general, it itself will cover so many regulation rules, regulatory rules that have been put by any jurisdiction that is there in the world. So this is where everybody has to start for their compliance for the future. The basic financial compliance it will be always be there, but most of the people are neglecting this. The compliances that are being uh, framed as of now for the sustainability part by all the countries. So if you start maintaining ESG, automatically you will be covering all the bases. So, so what are the basic key risks faced by ESG startups in general? Obviously, the legal risk will be having non-compliance, IP issues will be there, and greenwashing claims will be there. So greenwashing claims can be taken out legally. So before you claiming that my product or any of the service that I am providing is sustainable enough or environmental friendly or something like that, if it is not up to the mark and technically it is not qualified, so greenwashing claims will be coming in. Your IPs will be jeopardized, and non-compliance is always there if there is a law that is being not followed by the land. So next, financially is automatically what I have told already. ESG reporting cost will be there, investor withdrawal will be there. So ESG reporting cost itself will be there if you are not taking the right steps from the starting of the startup itself to make sure that you are ESG compliant. If once you have gone ahead without considering these ESG metrics and you have started running your business, suddenly you have to have compliance because of some other reason. Maybe the investor is asking for it. That moment, the cost will be skyrocketed. And most of the times, whenever right now, people who are uh, generally look forward to vitamin 3 asymmetrics is standard consultancies like McKinsey, KPMG, and these people will literally charge you like anything. The moment they see a requirement for you for the ESC complaint. So in the initial stage itself, if you start making step towards maintaining the ESC metrics, that would be great. Next, operational. So once you have found that you need to be sustainable in your product management and product supply chain, you found that one of the material that is being used for your product for manufacturing is not sustainable, and for you to maintain the ESG metrics, you have to change your vendor. There comes the problem when if you don't start from the initial stages itself. So obviously, you have to find the experts at the point of time. You have to find change your supply chain. The changes in the supply chain will change your production costs. Everything will go haywire. And obviously, next thing is reputational. If you have a negative press, your product is gone. So, so liability type. What are the liability types in this particular scenario for a initial startup owner? So the owner, different stakeholders generally. So the liability for the founder is to supply chain disruption will be there, lack of expertise. So these can become liable for him. They have to be well educated and well aware about the basic requirement of ESG. And second thing is stakeholders. So investors and directors and partners will always be looking forward for the ESG compliance. So that is the liability. And second, coming to the product or service. So once you want to have a ESG claims, this is the liability that you need to understand, that you have to make sure that the product can claim the ESG or can claim environmental friendliness in the starting stage, design stage itself. This is one of the liabilities. And then third parties, vendors and data process, as I told, wherever for your product to be ESG friendly, you need to make sure that the vendor from which you are taking the materials are also certified uh, by certified, and they are sustainable enough. And then only your product or service will be considered as ESG friendly. Next. So, what is the framework that you can have to make sure that you are implementing this? So, risk identifier, risk identification, analysis, mitigation, and monitoring, as simple as that. So, in this design stage itself, you have to understand what are the checklists for ESG, and make sure that you are conducting third-party audits, and then make sure that you have a continuous monitoring system that is going on for sustainability performance. And there are dashboards that are available for you to understand. It's not only about production of something, it's about the operational cost and the day-to-day maintenance of your company, day-to-day maintenance of your campus, day-to-day maintenance of your industry. So it's about having a dashboard that tells you where are the things are deviating from the sustainability checklist that we have set in. So for that you need dashboards. And obviously whenever it is required, legal counsel and regulatory pathways has to be put in place. So how to integrate ESG into early decision making? So product design with sustainability in mind, you have to design the product with sustainability in mind, and make sure that ESG aligned hiring and board practices are maintained. There will be in ESG, the governance part will be having certain rules to be followed to maintain the gender equality, to maintain those domain. So equal opportunity has been given to everybody. Something, all these things you have to make sure that your hiring and board practices are always ESG compliant. And always everything that you do has to be recorded, so that whenever the requirement for an audit or the AFC metrics has to be presented, you don't have to once again run here and there. You have to be always have a simple app in your hand that will just record the day-to-day things in such a way that whenever it is required, one single click will sort the information in such a way that the ESG metrics are maintained and displayed at least according to the ESG metrics required data format. And always with all the stakeholders have a open communications and try not to hide anything. Once you have the dashboards in your hand, you will always be understanding where things are going wrong, and automatically you will be maintaining your ESG metrics properly. Then there is no issue in communicating with any of the stakeholders that is connected to you. So, what Isha Solutions does also almost same. We develop a SaaS product that literally designed in such a way that is flexible enough for any company or any industry just to adopt itself. It has to just register, and it will just have to include what are the components that is having that it is having from buildings, further from the staff, from the supply chain to everything. So once they register, the decision making people will be having a continuous dashboard that they can look into, and they can see where are the metrics going, how are the metrics going, what are the targets that they have to achieve, what at what pace they are reaching. So they will have a continuous assessment in their hands for them to understand whether they are complying with the rules or not, and whether their complaints with their own targets are being reached or not. Where are the things that are going wrong? One simple example that I can give is uh, in ESG, let us take E. In E, one of the main component is water management. And let us take one particular building, and if there is no particular continuous monitoring system or a dashboard for them to monitor, All we can do just simply is just every day morning, the person who is operating the motor pump will be having a reading from the water meter, and he will be noting down somewhere in the book. What simply we can do is the particular person will be having an app in your phone, in his phone, and whatever the reading that he is putting in the paper, he will be entering in an app, and automatically this is integrated into the ESS mechanism that we have created. And the dashboard will automatically tell the decision making person if at all there is a there is a leakage, for suppose in a one of the floors in one of the room, one of the washrooms, and continuously water is being leaked there, and the consumption of water will be automatically visible, and the red flag can be automatically raised. This simple technique, this simple monitoring system regarding ESG can change so many things. Most of the people will be suffering the pro- from the errors that have not been deliberately taken. So, so that is one of the examples that I can tell. And so once the data is acquired on a regular basis through a platform for every company, it is very easy at the end of the day. If the investor is asking, okay, in which framework you want my ESG report, GRI, BRSR, SDGs, any of the frameworks that right now that are going on, in any format, all you have to do is simply one click, because that once the data is there, converting that into any required global framework is not a big thing. So what will be the impact? Reduce liability exposure and stronger stakeholder trust. So because you have a continuous monitoring system, you will be able to avoid most of the liabilities exposure. And trust me, this is going to be the future liability in most of the cases more than the financial things. So there are so many tools that you can start using it. So first, there are three year series scan tools that are available with most of the companies. Even our company has one. So government and SEBI frameworks, Startup India ESG accelerators will be there. So these are the resources that you can go for you if you are having a startup and you want to make sure that you are complying with all the ESG requirements. So ESG startup incubators are also there. There are so many incubators who are right now concentrating on ESG based startups. So try to tap these resources and try to use those tools that are available and start your journey from the starting phases itself by complying with ESG norms. So what we can understand is ESG is both risk and a priority lens, obviously. And obviously, liability can be from many angles. So be proactive. Don't take anything lightly. Everything until and unless it hits you, don't understand what is the importance of it. I can give one example. I think the government of India has brought in waste management rules 2016, and it has upgraded in waste management rules 2020 to latest rate. Most of the people who are running SMEs, MSMEs don't understand there is a component of plastic that they are using either for their packaging or in their overall product. There will be one simple plug or switch that is made out of plastic. All of them are brought into brought into the framework in such a way that first
Yeah,
of all they
excuse
will
me,
get.
Dr. Chaitanya, can you please wrap it up in a minute?
Yes, yes, yes.
We have
So
actually crossed
they are brought.
the
I'll be
like
finishing.
conference any time.
Yes, yes, yes,
Sure.
yes, yes. So indirectly government is tightening up the screws by just bringing some other rules, not just by making sure that ESG is compulsory for everybody. So that is why once you have start maintaining ESG, all these rules will be complied. So that's it. That's it. That's my presentation for today. I hope I have given some valuable information for you guys. Uh, and yeah, I think I have taken more time.
Sure. Thank you for the
Yeah,
amazing speech, Dr.
I will drop
Chaitanya.
my
Could you
mail.
please just share
Yeah,
your
yeah,
email in
yeah.
the chat box so that if anyone has any queries, they can directly reach out. Thank you. So now, since we have come to the close of today's remarkable conference session, we would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you. The knowledge shared, the insights gained, and the connections made have all contributed to the success of this event. We are truly grateful for all of your participation, even the attendees. Well, I understand how painful it is to sit with like in a cross-legged position or maybe even straight on a chair for 2 hours straight. Understand? I've been in the face. So as we wrap up this conference, we kindly request all attendees and speakers to please take a moment and provide your valuable feedback and reviews on our YouTube channel. The recordings of all our previous 45 conferences hosted till days are also available on our YouTube channel. You can simply Google out for SK Associates and Group and click on the YouTube channel. Your inputs and thoughts are highly appreciated as they will help us improve future events and continue delivering high quality conferences. So thank you all for your participation and for being an integral part of today's session. We look forward to your reviews and hope to see you all at session 2 and 3 tomorrow and day after. Until we meet again, stay inspired, keep dreaming, and continue to strive for excellence. Thank you all and farewell from me.